So I was just having a cheeky look at the card that's coming up later on this evening. And I was looking at those top kind of 3 or 4 fights and I was thinking, that's a decent card. And then that made me very sad because this is not a decent card. This is not what we should be getting as MMA fans. Especially not British MMA fans that are staying up till 2, 3 a.m. to watch this stuff. And I'm not having it. So I thought I'd talk about it. Krylov against Spann as the main event is fine. Couple of top 10 guys, both coming off wins. That's okay. You can't argue with that. As a fight night main event, that's totally fine. Andre Muniz against Brandon Allen, okay. Not sure if it's quite co-main event level, but I mean, Muniz is ranked, and Allen is right on the cusp of those rankings. It's not a terrible fight. But if you look back a few years, this wouldn't be a co-main event. It would be maybe 4th fight down, headline of the prelims. This is where things get really fucked. The featured fight of a UFC fight night is Augusto Sakai and Don'Tale Mayes. I don't even know where to start with that. Augusto Sakai is coming off of 4 straight losses and he got finished in all of them with strikes. Don'Tale Mayes is coming off a split no contest. And they're the featured fight of a UFC card. What the fuck is going on? The worst part is this card looks okay in comparison to what we had last week. We'll get to that in a minute, but I got to keep going through this. Next fight I actually quite like. Tatiana Suarez against Montana De La Rosa. I'm excited to see what Suarez looks like as she's coming back. I'm way more excited about that than I am those fat freaks in the feature fight. But that's not a terrible fight. I would have had that third on the card, but it's still not feature fight level. Mallet against Linesi is not a bad fight. O'Day Osborne and Charles Johnson further down the card is the fight I'm looking forward to. That's a great matchup, but no name value. There's no stakes anywhere on this card, really. This was last week's card. UFC Fight Night, Andrade against Blanchfield. This card on paper looks even worse than the card we got last week, but in fairness on this card, some of the fights are okay. Hernandez and Jim Miller was a great fight. It was great to see old Jim still be able to compete. Pratney and William Knight was just some over-muscled guy just not being able to move or defend a leg kick, and he's rightfully out of the UFC because he was a waste of space in that fight. Jamal Pose looked good. Decent little prospect. Zach Pauga looked very, very good against Jordan Wright, and obviously Blanchfield may have earned a title shot after beating Andrade. So, the performances of some of the people on the card were good. Really good in some cases, but there's just no name value in fight nights anymore. Now, this is what a UFC fight night should be. Main event, JDS against Stipe. Co-main event, RDA against Nate Diaz. Feature fight, Overeem against Struve. 4th fight on the card, Mitrione against Gonzaga. Headline of the prelims, Joanna Champion against Claudia Gadelha. Joanna would earn her title shot after this fight. Matt Mitrione just beat Derek Lewis. Overeem and Struve are both top 10 heavyweights. RDA would fight for the title in his next fight after beating Diaz. And JDS had just fought Cain Velasquez for the 3rd time. This isn't even pre-planned either. I literally just picked this card at random and this is the main card and the feature prelim for this fight night back in 2014. This is what it should be like. This is how they should be. I can't believe I looked at the card for this weekend and thought it was good. It's because our brains have been numb from all the crap we've had to go through over the last year or two. And I get that a lot of that is pandemic related. I understand that was hard for everyone, especially the UFC, but they're hiding behind the fact they have the Apex now. I mean, look at UFC Orlando. What a card that was. Look at it. Wonderboy against Big Mouth. RDA against Barbarina, who just beat Robbie Lawler. Nicolau against Matt Schmel. 2 unbelievably exciting fighters. And then you got Big Pav and Tuivasa. Unbelievable. Not to mention Hermansson versus Deladze and Anders against Dorcas as well. This was a very, very solid fight night card. They should all be like that. I just thought I'd have a little rant about this lot because I feel like we get used by the people that know that we're going to watch all the fights. You know, they just take advantage of that and they just make these shit cards in the Apex and say, oh no, we're not getting any revenue in. You can go to anywhere you want to, Dana, mate. You go into San Antonio, you can go wherever you fucking like. But no, they're hiding behind it. And we're the ones that lose out, the fans, you know. We want to see good cards every weekend and no one's getting that excited for Krylov versus Spann. It might be a great card, I hope it is. But, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this for a little bit, you lot. Well, enjoy the fights. And Dana, fucking sort it out, bruv.